All right, you guys, let's talk about our first creative assignment here in photography class. This assignment is called Learning to See the World Differently, or Your Name in Nature, because what you're going to do is you're going to go out and find letters that aren't actually letters, and you're going to use those letters to spell out your name. Some of you have really short names, so the first thing you need to know is that you need to spell at least 10 letters. So you may need to include your middle name, or your last name twice. I don't know. You figure it out. My name is Matt Johnson. That's 11 letters. There's 2 O's and 2 T's in that name. So just remember that all of your letters have to be different. So let's get started, and I'll show you what the heck I'm talking about here. Okay, the first thing you need to know is you can't use anything that is actually a letter or intended to be a letter for this assignment. So like any of these letters, I can't use them. Any letters on here, I can't use them because these are letters already. What we're looking for are things that are not letters, but that look like letters. So we're trying to see the world differently and photograph things, again, that aren't letters and make them look like letters. Let me give you a couple of examples. So look at this dude right here. This would be a great letter A for the A in my first name. But one of the things we really want to do is we want to have awesome composition, and we're really going to focus on getting in close to our subject on this one. So what I'm going to do for this shot for my letter A is I'm going to turn my camera this way because that makes way more sense. I'm going to get in as close as I can. I really want that birdhouse to fill up the frame. It's a little dark, so I'm going to click and drag to the right to bring my exposure up just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and take that photo. And I'm going to take a few of them. This is a good habit to get into, is that you really should be taking lots and lots of pictures every time you take a photo, just so that you have plenty to work with. Okay, let's look at another letter. I don't have a Q in my name, but this shape right here actually makes a pretty cool Q, and so I'm pretty happy with that. Like here's the little thing that comes off of the Q, and there's the circle and whatnot. So that would be a great photo for a Q, so I don't need one, but I'm going to just take a bunch because why not? And there you go. I got a good cue just in case I need it. Okay, so remember our goal on this assignment is threefold. 1, to see the world a little bit differently. 2, to practice getting in close to our subject. And 3, to pay attention to good lighting. You'll notice my first 2 photos I took were completely in the shade. And it's pretty easy because I'm out here in front of my house where it's real shady. And so those 2 photos were easy to take. But it can get tricky if you're out at the wrong time of day. And let me show you what I mean by that. So let's say I was trying to take a photo of this flower, like maybe for a letter O or something like that. Notice the flower is in the shade, but look at the background. The background is full of sunlight, and that means we don't have the best lighting that we could. So I have to figure something out here. And the best solution, you guys, is to actually just come back later and take this photo either early in the morning or later at night, just like we talked about last week in the video about the golden hour. So here's a hot tip for you for this assignment. The best time to do this assignment is right around sunset, because you're going to have tons of awesome lighting. In fact, in that 20 minutes after sunset, you could shoot this assignment just about anywhere and have awesome lighting for your photos. Of course, there's certainly no rule that says we have to shoot in the shade. In fact, we can shoot in the sun. So here's a camera lens. I'm going to use this for one of my letter O's in my last name. And of course, I'm going to pay attention to lighting. You can see the sun is behind me, the photographer, and shining right on my camera. I'm going to pay attention to getting in close to my subject. So I really want to fill up the frame with the front of that lens. I'm going to tap on it to make sure it's in focus. And I'm going to snap that shot right there. And again, I'm going to take a couple. I might even refocus a couple of times just to make sure I'm getting this thing in focus, especially when you're really, really close to things like this. It's super important to make sure your focus is good. Okay, let's talk about this one. This is the bars on my duck hunting boat, and I wanted to use this as one of my letter T's, but you can see the sun is behind the subject, and that's terrible lighting. So what am I going to do here? Well, I got a couple options. I could just go around to the other side of the boat and use a T over there, the same bar, or I could just bring my camera around. And now I can't see what I'm doing. Hold on, let's try that again. Could bring my camera around to this side. Now I can see what I'm doing. And now I could see the sun is shining on the bars, and maybe this could be like a letter L or something like that. I don't need an L. Or I could get over there and I could get the letter T, or I could quit being lazy and just walk over here to the other side of the boat. In this case, it probably makes sense to turn my camera this way. Again, look at that focus. See how my focus is off? You really got to watch out for that, especially as we get in close, where you make sure your camera is focusing on the right thing. So I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to shoot this a couple times. And you absolutely can switch back and forth between shooting vertically and horizontally as you're working on this assignment. Okay, so now I'm down here looking at the tire on my boat, and I'm gonna just go ahead and take this photo. You can see it's in the shade, and it's completely in the shade. There's no sunlight behind it. There actually is. You can see if I bring the camera over there, look at all that sunlight in the background. But because I'm getting in close and focusing on something that's just in the shade, I'm still getting pretty dang good lighting. So I'm actually really happy with this. So I'm gonna take a few of these. And you can see I'm taking a bunch because it's a good idea to always have a lot of photos. All right, I'm not gonna make you watch me do all 10 or 11 letters in my name, but hopefully this gave you a pretty good idea of what we're looking for in this assignment and how to do it. Remember, our goal is threefold: learn to see the world a little bit differently. 2, pay attention to composition and get our camera in close to our subject. And 3, pay attention to your lighting. Remember the hot tip to do this during the magic hour after the sun just after the sun goes down for super awesome photos. And say hi to my daughter in the background there. And that's it. You guys, let me know if you need any help with this assignment.